Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. In this video, you're going to learn how to cut out pattern paper using the Brother ScanNCut. The pattern paper we're going to be using is called Toil Trouble. It's by Stampin Up. It'll be available September 5th, 2018 in our holiday catalog. Let's get started. The first thing you need to do is place your paper onto the mat. And I did that, and I just want to show you the background of this paper, which is super cute as well. And that's little kitties. And I did cut out the cats as well, using the Brother ScanNCut, and I can give you some tips on that. Okay? Now you want to make sure when you load your paper onto the mat that you're not blocking any of these registration marks which are needed for scanning. Go ahead and load your paper using that button there. And then we're going to use direct cut. And that's because we're not saving anything we do. We're just going to cut out the witches and be done with it. We're not using scan to cut data. We're just going to use direct cut. We're going to select this button here, which means to store it in the memory of the machine. Very important when you're cutting the witches is to use color recognition mode. Okay, go ahead and select that one. If you're on black and white mode, just go here to the little wrench and screwdriver. And if you're on that mode, go ahead and change it to color recognition mode. Say OK. Now we're going to go ahead and say start. Color recognition mode takes a little bit longer to recognize. There's really no other downside. Notice what I'm doing. I'm just creating a little bit of friction. I just give the mats a rub. That little bit of friction in my hand helps. Okay, frame the image. Okay, I know I just want a few of these witches. Okay, we'll just say the little corner because of the time. We're not going to cut out every witch. Plus, I may need the cat paper for something else. So let's say OK. And I usually do cut out a whole page at once. If I had more packs of this paper, I would go ahead and cut out. But this is my second piece, my last piece. And I don't want to cut it all the way out. Okay. So, looks good. Oops, you can't see that. Let's move it back. Okay, looks good. Now, in order to get the hands to be recognized though, I need to change the color threshold. Okay, I did this up to 12 and it seemed to work, but let's try it. I'm going to say preview. Color threshold means it's sampling more colors in the surrounding area. So back to why we're using color recognition mode. The witch itself would have been fine in black and white mode, but the little hands would get cut off because the hands are so close. The pink doesn't contrast a lot with the white in the background. So I think we have our hands this time. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and see if we have the hands. I'm only going to cut a couple witches anyway, but we want to make sure the witches I cut, we have our hands. Yes, see that? We have the witch's hands. Happy. I'll cut that full witch. I don't want to cut this full witch because I'll save it for later. So let's just cut that full witch. And this one already has hands tucked in. This one needs hands, but that's okay. And this one has hands. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. We have 4 full witches that look pretty good. Not that one yet because of that. So let's just say, zoom back out. I'm sorry, just X back out. And we're going to say ignore object size. I just like to ignore maybe up to 1/2 inch. Just get rid of the little bits. I'm going to show you how to edit out the pieces you don't want. But if you can ignore some object size, it'll edit out some pieces for you, which will be helpful to you. Okay, so to review, we have a color threshold of 12, and we're going to put an outline distance around these. Okay, and I'll tell you some other settings. Outline distance of 0.04. Okay, and we're going to say OK. Now, because we've only selected a little bit of an area, any partial witches, don't just ignore this whole message. There's a pattern out of the effective area. It doesn't really matter. You just say OK. We're going to get rid of the witches that we don't have full witches of, like over here, and these bits. I told you we could do that in editing mode. So go to this little one with the shapes and just get rid of this foot, because later you can cut her out fully. So get rid of any little bits so you don't mess with if you have, number one, it's going to take a lot of extra time to cut out these bits. Number two, there's just her skirt, because remember we selected just this area. So you get rid of any bits you don't want. I remember saying there's 4 good witches. Kind of like a Wizard of Oz, right? Good witches. A partial hat, I like that. A partial body, that's fine, because there is no big witch at the bottom of the paper. And the only witch I'm not going to cut is this one because her hand wasn't fully selected. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 good witches. A cup and a hat. Okay, I'm very happy with that. And I'm going to go ahead and say cut. But before I do, one more setting. We're using a blade depth of 3 for designer series paper. And you know that if you've been watching my other videos. Okay, so let's go ahead and say start. It's only going to take a minute. Keep ignoring this message. There's a pattern out of the effective area. No, there really is not. I guess there is. They tried to take that. Yeah, I guess they cut off the witches at the bottom. They're saying we can't cut. All right, fair enough. Brother ScanNCut doesn't want to cut this witch because it's not in the affected area, but that's okay. I'm giving it a rub while it cuts. Okay, again, we did it so we didn't cut off her hands. These hands are tucked in. You have no problem with these hands and these. But do stay tuned because I'm going to show you all the papers in this series. I just don't want to do it while it's so loud. I'm also going to give you a sneak peek at some other Halloween holiday catalog products. Something to look at while we're doing that. Nice vivid colors. All right. Let's see. We're going to just, so you don't miss any steps, we say okay. In case you're new to your Brother ScanNCut, we unload the mat. We say okay. And we peel the mat. We peel the paper away. And this is a mat that I just restuck, so I'm happy with stickiness. Where'd the witch go? Here we go. Here is a witch with the broom. I just got to pop the inside out. Okay. And that's okay. And we have these witches. So we have, I just bend the mat a little bit and they come right off. You could also use your spatula. That's what happens when you restick. Sometimes they get too sticky. All right, let's move the mat out of the way because we don't need the mat anymore. So we have, and I want to put these on a background. This is what we just cut. Okay, we just cut these witches. They're just absolutely gorgeous with the little hands. Now this one cut as well, but I need to work this. I need to weed out this little piece there. It cut a hole where the broom was. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's all we cut for now. So we still have all this paper, and I'll show you the rest of the stack. So we have all this, and we can cut the cats. Okay, so I'll show you how I'd cut the cats. Okay, so for the cats, you just need black and white recognition mode with an outline distance of 0.04. And the cats will cut out just fine. And it took about 10 minutes, and that was just a little piece of paper I had. I didn't even use a full section, and it took 10 minutes to cut out the cats. Okay, the rest of the paper. That was the front and back of the witch paper. So something to look at. We'll just put that there. Yay, Brother ScanNCut. All right, we have pumpkins. These remind me a lot of the pumpkins last year that were part of the Painted Autumn series. Okay. And yes, I will be cutting them out and talking about the settings. Great striped paper. Awesome little ghost. Super cute, super small ghost. Super small little brooms. Making treat holders and boxes will be fun with that. The cauldron. Okay, cauldron, little spiders, little cats. Let me keep this paper out. I need something to show you something with that paper. Okay, dots, hats, witches' hats, and I'm going to put that down, show you something else with the witches' hats. Frogs, super cute, bats, and I have something to show you with the bats, and stars. Okay, so now let's talk about the coordinating colors on this designer series paper. Okay, we have basic black, Cajun Craze, crushed curry, early espresso, gorgeous grape, granny apple green, Highland heather, lemon lime twist, mango melody, petal pink, pumpkin pie, and whisper white. Okay, so those are the coordinating colors. And we actually came out with a couple new blends to go with this series, but those I have to show you as well. Or not now, but when I do my full video. Now, here's what's really cool about this paper here, this designer series paper. Not that I'm not going to cut these out with the Brother ScanNCut, because I absolutely am. But I did buy this Spooky Bats Punch. Spooky Bats Punch, super awesome. Here's my Spooky Bats Punch. You can cut out, see how I did? I cut out these bats with the Spooky Bats Punch. So somehow some brilliant person, and they didn't do it all over the paper, but they did it right there. I might not even be able to show you now. Okay, right here, they did it. Maybe this one will do it. Here it goes, right here. Spooky Bats Punch. So I'm going to line it up. I'm not right above this right now because of the camera, but so let me get this above. You have to be above something when you do this. Okay, so that lines up, and you can punch out your bats, and then you have these little bats with the little outline as well. Well, that's cool, but I probably will use the ScanNCut. But what's great about the Spooky Bats Punch is there's another stamp set that coordinates with the Spooky Bats Punch, so you can stamp in any colors, cut out your bats. But I get these punches. I love Stampin' Up! Punches for so many reasons. They're great, and but this one in particular, I can make loads of embellishments. And I also have a craft club, and the kids just absolutely love punching out papers. And they came out with this foil paper, and this is great for cutting out little bats in the foil. Okay, so that's the Spooky Bats Punch, which coordinates with the Toil and Trouble Designer Series paper. Okay, now I want to show you some more coordination. Because even though I have a Brother ScanNCut, I love getting the thinlits. And because you get a 10% discount when you bundle them with the stamp set, which I'll show you. But I also get thinlits because there's some things that just this Brother ScanNCut does not do very well, like these little tiny stars or like the spider webs. And also when I take my Big Shot, I have 3 Big Shots, by the way. I take them to craft classes and to clubs, and the kids love using them, and adults as well. And the thinlits are more portable. I don't take my Brother ScanNCut along, but the thinlits are portable. So here's what I want to show you with this thinlits. And by the way, in the description, I'll show you, if you're interested, like you can click on links to how I store my dies. These are from Amazon, these magnetic sheets. And I just label them using my Brother label maker. Okay, let's start with the witch's hat, because this one is just awesome. So you have, and you know, maybe you cut them out with the Brother ScanNCut, and maybe they don't all cut. You can use your thinlit, and just, it coordinates perfectly with this paper. Or if you don't have the Brother ScanNCut and you're watching this because you're trying to get a sneak peek of the annual catalog, just get those thinlits, because look at that. Awesome, it coordinates. Okay, so you just cut those out. And I like to use, by the way, when I'm doing I use painter's tape when I'm using my Big Shot, because I like to line up what I'm trying to cut, and then I use painter's tape to hold it in place. All right, so that paper's awesome. We figured out that it coordinates. And this is another thing I just figured out. I love just kind of making these discoveries. I saw this little cat, and I was like, oh, I bet he would fit on there. Yep, look at that. So there's your little cat. And sometimes things like that don't cut out well with the ScanNCut, so maybe the tail will get cut off. So I would use the thinlit for the cat. Okay? Look at the cauldron. Put the cauldron right there. I'm not even sure what that piece does yet. It's probably part of the stamps. I'll show you the stamp set. Okay, this is the cauldron. Okay? And look at that. Let me hold it flatter. Look at that coordination. So it cuts out the paper. And the real reason to get thinlits is to go with the stamp set, not to go with the paper. Sometimes when it goes with the paper, that's just an extra added bonus. So here is the stamp set called Cauldron Bubble. And that's what these are coordinated with. Okay, and my husband discovered this, not me, but he said, I bet that witch fits on your paper. And I go, I don't think so, I tried it. And he's like, yeah, it does. Now look, only this witch. It doesn't just coordinate with the stamp set, but it coordinates with this witch right here. So look at that, perfect little witch. If you're worried about the hands not cutting out, just use your thinlit. Okay, so perfect coordination. And I use thinlits in a different way than most people. I don't stamp and then cut out my image. I actually cut out a bunch of images using my thinlit. And then I use a precision tool like the Stamparatus, and then I stamp onto my shapes. And maybe I'll do a tutorial on that in the future. Okay, so that was what I was wondering what this one went with, and there you go. It went with, looks like it goes with the frog. This one here. And notice I traced my, just so I know what's missing, because I have so many thinlits, I traced them with a Sharpie marker, which it doesn't rub off this magnetic sheets, because then I know it's missing. When I take it out and it sticks on my leg or something, sticks it with a piece of tape somewhere, and I'm like, oh, which one am I missing? And I can see the shape of it. That's the one I'm missing. All right, so there we go. The ghost coordinates with that. Oh, but there's more in the annual catalog. All right, so this suite has the paper. It has the Toil and Trouble thinlits. It has the Cauldron Bubble stamp set. I have some blends, which I didn't bring over here when I'm doing the video, but there's some more coordinating blends. But then these super, super adorable spider trinkets. Okay, and I'll be doing things with these, so stay tuned, because we'll be putting these on some treats, bookmarks or what have you, just to dangle down. These are super cute. Okay, spider trinkets. And I've actually seen people make jewelry out of things like that, but I don't like dangly jewelry, so I'm gonna put them on treats. And then we have this here. This is cool. This is the glitter, you gotta find the English one. Glittered organdy ribbon. Glittered organdy ribbon. I think it's like organza ribbon. Okay, so glitter, look at the sparkle on that. Okay, so these will be fun to wrap the treats in. Okay, also there are some new baker's boxes, which I don't think I have right here because I haven't put those together yet. You can color them and decorate with them. There are some other super adorable stamp sets, like this one. This is just an independent stamp set. It's called Trick or Tweet. And there's loads and loads of like Christmas, winter, holiday stuff, but I was like focusing, I have a budget, so I was just going for the Halloween stuff right now. And I did get a pack of paper. I did get a pack of Santa's workshop paper, but we'll try to cut that out too. All right, so if you're interested in a holiday catalog, I can only show you the cover. That's all I'm allowed to show you, not the inside of it. Unless I'm allowed to show you the products I order, but this. Okay, if you're interested in this holiday catalog by Stampin Up, please contact me. You can find me and all my links. If you go to thepaperedchef.com, then you can find me, or I'll put a link in the description. I also have a Facebook page. You can contact me there. Just don't try to contact me on Instagram or somewhere where I hardly ever see it. But I do check my Facebook page all the time. Papered Chef. I check my comments here in the YouTube, but I would have to contact you personally to get your address to send you a catalog. All right, well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.